Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about what I believe is the strongest zodiac sign, and it applies and pertains to the sun, moon, and ascendant. And I want to elaborate and expound on that. When I say strongest, I mean I understand that all zodiac signs have positive and negative attributes and characteristics, and strong and weak traits, but I'm talking about the strength of character, the willpower, strength of character. That is what I'm talking about when I'm deciding on or selecting the strongest zodiac sign. So anyway, let's start out. We'll go talk about Aries first, and I'm still going to talk about all of the zodiac signs, but then at the end of the video, I'll reveal to you which one I think is the strongest. So talk about Aries first. Well, Aries could be a viable candidate to be the strongest zodiac sign. I mean, the thing is, they're not a fixed sign, but they do have a lot of willpower. They're not readily discouraged. Aries could be very aggressive, assertive. They have a lot of single-minded focus and purpose, and they generally have very little, physical, fear. They're very can be confrontational. Are generally not afraid, of anybody, on a physical level. I had I want to say friend who was a manager. I guess you could say she's kind of like, maybe friendly acquaintance to some degree, but and she was an Aries sun, and she, did not hold back, with what she said, and was not really afraid to confront anybody or anything on any issue, and that would be including yours truly. And but it'd still be difficult to say they're a strongest sign because it's a cardinal sign and not fixed. I think the strongest zodiac sign you think logically should go to a fixed sign, but I'll tell you at the end of the video if I think Aries is or not. But now the next sign, Taurus. Well, Taurus would certainly be a viable candidate to be the strongest zodiac sign because not only it's a fixed sign, it's Earth, being Earth, it's set in the ground, and it adds more stability to it. There's a lot of, what Taurus is tremendous, intransigent, unwavering energy connected with the sign. A lot of people would think that Taurus should be the strongest sign because of this. Now, really the unwavering and intransigent nature, you would think this because it's also, Taurus is very loyal, stable, steadfast. They have great powers of perseverance, and the concentration energy for Taurus is tremendous. They persevere through, all kinds of trials and tribulations. I should know something about this being a Taurus ascendant, but I will, and they will stick with things with a lot of determination that would daunt a lot of other people. But I will tell you at the end of the video if I think it's Taurus. And now I'm going to go to the zodiac sign Gemini. Well, Gemini, will say the different kettle of fish, so to speak, compared to Taurus. Gemini, of course, is very mercurial. They're a very fickle, changeable sign. They are prone to certain worry, and they're not, I don't see, Gemini being a mutable sign. They're not one of the stronger signs in terms of strength of character. Now, don't get me wrong, people. I'm not saying Gemini's like completely weak by any means, but Gemini, tends to not, confront a lot of issues head on. There's something, with them where they're a sign that doesn't have, a tremendous amount of persistence, or, in terms of a willpower and stick-to-itiveness. Gemini can often, dissipate through lack of an integrating, purpose. And the thing about, Gemini is that they, it's not to say they don't have any strong points. They certainly can outmaneuver people and have, in terms of cerebral department, I mean, they are right up there. But the thing is, they're not, it's not a sign I would equate, with the strongest zodiac sign by any means. So I'd say no to Gemini. Now, the zodiac sign Cancer, somebody told me one time they thought Cancer was the strongest zodiac sign. Now, Cancer is a cardinal sign, but the thing is, because when people look at strength, it's obviously very subjective, and Cancer can be seen as strong because of that unconditional love that corresponds with it. The fact that, without love, what do we really have? But in terms of strength of character, Cancer can, be strong-willed, at times, especially with their family, and standing up, for those. The protective urge is very strong with Cancer. And what's interesting about Cancer is that even though it's not a fixed sign, Cancer is very dedicated, devoted to a cause. They have a lot of tenacity. It's interesting because many of you may know I have a Cancer sun and a Taurus ascendant. And the thing is, the signs are actually very similar, even though one is cardinal and one is fixed. But Cancer, because the mood swings, I think, with Cancer, and the fact they could be somewhat timid and hesitant about certain things. I don't really see Cancer as the strongest zodiac sign. It is a cardinal sign, and again, that I do believe that the strongest zodiac sign would all likely you think would be fixed. Or certainly not, and I'm definitely going back to mutable signs. It would be hard pressed to put one of them as the strongest zodiac sign. But anyway, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go to Leo now. Now, Leo can be a prime viable candidate for the strongest zodiac sign because Leo, is a fixed sign. They're very, dominant sign, can be domineering. They have a tremendous willpower. They have that stick-to-itiveness, and it's that constantly try harder philosophy in them that makes them often try harder than they did previously, which often will frequently get the job done. A lot of it is their pride and their ego won't allow themselves to be defeated. And I saw a Forensic Files episode where there was a son in Leo. I found out he had a son in Leo, and basically won in a situation that he shouldn't have really won, but I think it was just that fierce loyalty and determination which got him to, really prevail. Did some kind of, crime reconstruction and used a lot of creativity to help exonerate someone. And Leos can win in those arenas, those scenarios that you don't expect them to. And, so Leo can be a candidate, and I'll tell you at the end of the video if I think it's Leo or not. I'm going to Virgo. Virgo is, being a mutable sign. It would be hard for me to say that Virgo, should be the strongest of the zodiac signs. They're generally, they're not ones. Generally, as far as when you think of like the willpower, in the person. Now, don't get me wrong, Virgos can be very industrious, hardworking. They have a good work ethic. They will often, go, do the things that a lot of other like workers will not do. They'll go to tremendous lengths. I had a friend of mine that had a Virgo ascendant, and I can remember one time we were it was at Kmart, and I guess it was like forklift, and we were trying to move it, and something got jammed and it stopped moving, and he got on his hands and knees, and no one else would do that, and he got on his hands and knees and was looking to see if something was stuck under the wheel or something. And Virgos go above and beyond. They're again very industrious, but they're a little bit passive. I think they're not ones as far as like the physical, whether it's a physical confrontation thing or what have you, about getting the hands dirty, so to speak. I mean, Virgo likes to be clean anyway, but you understand what I'm saying. And they're not ones as far as having like that will always to be, whether it's standing up for a person or even themselves in some instances, because they're, they could be very shy, and I think it comes out in other ways too, where they can be shy about when it comes to standing up for a situation or what have you. So I would not say Virgo. Now going to Libra. Well, Libra is known, they can be a little bit passive and they try to be fair and equitable. But Libra, will fight for justice when necessary. Libra is a cardinal sign. They have, certain strength of character because when they see something is not right, when justice, needs to be done, they're often the ones that will want, will fight for for things that are not fair, for things that where justice is not being served. Even though they tend to be, peace loving, they like to cooperate and very, friendly, amiable type nature, but still it's like, Libra. I don't know if I put them as far as the strongest zodiac sign, but I don't really see them as such. But they will, but Libra will, not hesitate, in terms of fighting when they have to. If it's a situation where it's about fairness, where it's about justice, is something unlawful going on, there will be the ones that will often do that as opposed to other people. But now, going to Scorpio. Well, Scorpio is certainly a viable candidate to be the strongest zodiac sign. Scorpio, they have, such inordinate, willpower that can be unbreakable. Their spirit is indomitable. They often can be very resilient and bounce back, from adversity, perhaps better than any other sign. Scorpio is symbolized by the phoenix rising from the ashes. So, Scorpio is very known to be very powerful. They're ruled not just by Mars, but by Pluto as well. Pluto is the planet of power. And they certainly may very well be the strongest zodiac sign. And I'll tell you at the end of the video whether I think it's them or not. Now, going to Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is a mutable sign. There can be certain indecision and ambivalence connected with this, and the follow through on matters. And you have Sagittarius could be flighty. They could be very changeable. It is a mutable sign. They are ones, out of all the mutable signs, though, I think Sagittarius is likely the strongest of them because they could be very, in terms of, being very straightforward, direct. They can have a lot of courage in them. They will often say the things that a lot of other people will not say, and they're not worried about the repercussions of it. Sagittarius has a connection with the law because they're ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter has a connection with that. They will often lay down the law, and again, not worry so much about the repercussions from this. They will fight for certain beliefs, their philosophies, when necessary. But the thing is, in terms of the overall willpower and the strength of character, I wouldn't put them at number one. But Sagittarius, considering it's a mutable sign, does have certain strength of character. I do believe in. Sagittarius is very, the kind of people that would even, fight for their friends as well, not just stand up for themselves, but they have a certain belief in their friends that, they have a friend that's being given a hard time or what have you. They will, I would say, readily stand up for them when necessary. Now, going to Capricorn. Well, Capricorn, even though it's a cardinal sign, it does have certain, single-minded purpose, good powers of concentration. Capricorn can have tremendous, discipline and structure. They have the restraint when necessary. I look at, Capricorn, even though, it's cardinal, not fixed, Capricorn can still be very strong-willed, very strong in purpose, though not a fixed sign. They, when it comes to, their business, especially career-related matters, they could be very aggressive. And the thing about Capricorn is that, I can remember, saying something about Capricorn in a conversation I had with somebody one time, and I said to the woman that, they don't seem overly aggressive, but then she responded, she says, well, they're aggressive in business, though. And I would say that would, definitely be a good point. When it comes to, business, acumen. I mean, nobody, on average is going to be Capricorn. They will be at the top, the supreme spot, as far as that goes. And Capricorn can have certain toughness in them as well. And I guess that's what I'm saying too, is like as far as like the mutable signs in terms of like the toughness is not, I don't see it with them as much compared to some of the cardinal and even the fixed signs. Um, the thing is, next sign I'm going to go in order, of course, Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is a fixed sign, and they are ones that can have, very strong, strength of character. A lot of their, intransigence is connected with, holding on to an idea, like that might seem, I would say unorthodox, overly oblique, or it's unusual to some people, and even if other people are not in agreement with them, they will often still hold on to it. And the fact that they're very progressive, they're very forward moving, they're not ones that are going to look, back, and see what's, going on. They're very future minded. They're very strong in terms of their purpose and innovation. And even though, I mean, they're an air sign, so there's certain friendliness, they have certain fixity and purpose and willpower, and will stay true to their course in terms of their friendships. I mean, they could be very loyal, staunch friends and stand up for them when necessary. They could often be good ambassadors for human rights. I can see Aquarius often being involved, as like a human rights advocate. They are, they have that tremendous love in terms of humanity. So I would say, for those reasons, I mean, Aquarius, can be a candidate for the strongest zodiac sign, but again, I'll tell you at the end of the video whether I think it's them or not. Now, last but not least, we're going to go to Pisces. Now, Pisces, is a mutable sign, and they're a little bit, as far as the willpower, sadly, Pisces may be the last on that list. I'm not saying, they don't have any will. Pisces, will some often fight for the less fortunate quicker than they'll fight for to stand up for themselves. Pisces sometimes can be defenseless, I believe. They often are ones, which are not going to be about, the confrontation. They would often rather isolate themselves as opposed to actually confronting a person on a situation or fighting for a certain belief or whatever it might be. And, the thing is, for these reasons, and Pisces can be very malleable too much to the point where they could be, too influenced by other people as well, and sometimes it's to their detriment. So I don't really see Pisces as being the strongest. Now I'm going to go reveal what I think is the strongest zodiac sign. I'm going to go to Scorpio, because Scorpio, I believe unequivocally, is the strongest of the zodiac signs in terms of the willpower and the strength of character. The fact that they are ones, not just with the inordinate willpower, but the resiliency, the ability to come back after being down and out. I read in a I believe it was in a rising sign book, and talking about Scorpio, something about that Scorpio, it was for Scorpio rising in this case, stated that that Scorpio rising may subconsciously set up a situation to fall in order to rise once again, to be that phoenix rising from the ashes. I thought it was interesting that pro football quarterback Aaron Rodgers has a Scorpio moon, and there was a post or something saying, like, I believe he had stated he was going to be the phoenix rising from the ashes. I didn't think he knew really much about his chart, but I had found out that I believe he had his chart interpreted by an astrologer. So, maybe he does know he's a Scorpio. I guess he probably knows he's a Scorpio moon. Maybe that's why he said he was going to be that phoenix rising from the ashes. But anyway, as far as the resiliency and just the willpower, the indomitable spirit that Scorpio has, I do think they're the strongest of the zodiac signs, and they seem to always, what it is about Scorpio, again, going to the indomitable thing about them, that they seem to find ways to emerge victorious in the long run. Scorpio may not win all, physical battles or physical confrontations or verbal wars, but somehow they often find a way to win in the situation. And I may have mentioned this before in at least one other video. Um, Back in 1994, I guess you could say, kind of embroiled in a situation. It was, with a prominent family member. She had a Scorpio ascendant, and it was over a housing situation. And I basically was trying to stay at the place as long as I could, but what happened was she ultimately, won the case, and I was out, and she kind of rubbed it in later. She says, "Eddie, I told you you were going to be the loser." And the thing was, as much as it bothered me, it was still, it was still true. Scorpio finds a way. They seem, more so than the other zodiac signs, again, to emerge victorious, to be triumphant, to come out on top in the long run. And the thing about it is, and this is not really a positive trait, but they could be very vengeful too, and they seem to have that perfect way of getting the person back, finding out, just some secret about them that nobody else could figure out. They're the ultimate sleuths of the zodiac, and that's what makes them very powerful too. The ability to manipulate and control things. And this is where I see Scorpio though as the strongest zodiac sign. Anyway, people, this is Edwin Learnard, and until next time, stay well.